Welcome back, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. December 9th. Hey, we're live.
That it is, December 9th. Only a few more days and it'll be 2019. Then we can start worrying about next hunting season.
Right.
Actually, I'm almost at that point right now. Very close.
Chris Kreiner already on board with Chris Kreiner.
Actually, Chris, we were just talking about you just a second ago. We were actually looking at something, some video that you had posted, so.
Yeah.
That's good.
There we go.
Is that your audio there,
I
Poppy?
just turned it down.
Okay. Got to watch you like a hawk.
I was waiting for it to come up so I could make sure that I turned it down.
That's good. Get a couple shares here, and we will get rocking with tonight's show. Almost done, and Danny, I'm ready.
Jim Miller is on as well.
Jim Miller, Mr. Miller, Killer Miller.
That's right. And Charles Byram from Iowa.
Charles, what is going on? Hopefully everything's going good.
Yes, sir.
So,
all right, we're ready.
You ready to rock?
Let's go.
All right, let's get into it. Hey, we're ready tonight on time. This is something.
That's right.
Rocking a little quickly here. So stand by. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. Host Mike Adams sitting in the cabin back from a trip up north with Dan DeFall, drinking our Hunter's Blend coffee. What?
Good evening.
Good evening. You all right?
Jason Radecki's already posting.
Oh, okay.
So.
Hey, Jason, what's going on?
What's happening?
Before we even get started tonight, before we get going,
okay,
I have to take a second here, and David Boggs is with me this week.
Yes.
So he could not be with his daughter yesterday, which was her 11th birthday. Cheyenne Boggs, happy birthday from all the guys here at Up North Journal.
Happy birthday. The big 11.
11. Yes, 11.
Getting close to those teens.
That's right. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, and enjoy it.
That's right. Looking forward to getting you up here with the Backwater gang here, hopefully in one of these upcoming seasons. So very cool. So yeah, just got back.
Good deal. Safe, sound.
Yep. No accidents. Nobody got hurt.
That's safety number one.
Safety number one. That's right.
Number two, anything on the ground?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good. How many kids did you have?
Total or kids hunting?
How many kids hunting?
4.
4, and then you were the other kid, so you had 5 hunters out there. You got up there Wednesday night. You started hunting Thursday, right?
I started hunting Thursday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting. I got out of work an hour early. I didn't take a lunch hour, so I was like, so I can get up north.
I'm out of here.
Right, so that way I can get up north, and I got on a conversation with one of our friends in the industry, and next thing I know, it's late, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm supposed to be hunting in the morning. I got to get some shut-eye. So, needless to say, I slept in.
Oh, you didn't hunt the morning hunt?
No, and actually I wish I would have, because when I did get up, crystal blue, clear skies, nice, cold, sunny, but it was beautiful.
Not windy?
Nope. That morning I should have been in the stand.
And you were snuggled against your pillow?
Yeah, but it felt good to get some rest.
Well, it's always good.
Yeah. So
at our age, sleep is good.
Yeah, sleep. You can never underestimate the power of sleep.
Absolutely, but you can't underestimate the power. How was the weather?
Off and on.
Off and on. Okay.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was really cold, and I am wore out from 4 days of hunting in cold weather. I didn't sit in a box blind at all.
Now, I know you posted once, you said it was 18. Mm-hmm. So that was about your average? You were
anywhere from 18 to 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing what cold can do to you, and you're really not doing anything.
Well, you're just sitting there. I mean, the first day, I did get out like late morning, early afternoon, and I spent 6 hours in the tree stand.
Okay.
Yeah, 18 degrees. Yeah.
Sucks it right out of you.
Yeah, I took my heavies with me, and actually I was in the stand and actually transitioned into my heavies. That was a chore. That was a chore. I'm tethered in, and there's no way I'm going to untether while I'm actually putting more gear on. I covered my harness up, zipped up. But that was quite the chore.
Yeah. See, number one thing is safety. Yep. Now putting on some heavy weights while you're trying to be safe.
Yeah. And I got to spend more time this season getting the proper boots.
Okay.
I won't say what I've got because I just don't want to.
Right.
I just
you think you need better boots.
it wasn't the brand; it was the amount of Thinsulate that I bought. I got 1,200 grams, and I'm used to wearing like 2,000.
Okay.
In those conditions, the ones I had, they were 10 years old, and they cracked this year. And being that I wanted something that was waterproof, of course, when you're in those temperatures, you really don't need waterproof. I guess you need warmth.
You need warmth.
I should have took them with me, but I bought these earlier in the season, and yeah, they just don't cut it.
They just didn't make the cut for a Michigan winter cold.
After about 3 hours sitting in a field and it's 20 degrees, 25 degrees, man, my toes, I'd have to take and scrunch my toes up in my boots.
Yeah, work them, get the blood flowing. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's one of the things that you think about when you're out there in the cold, what you do to keep warm.
Yeah.
And and it's like, and like you said, when it's 18, 25, you weren't in a box blind, so you were open to the elements as well. If there was any wind or
yeah, and then that first night it did get a little windy. Actually, it did get real windy. Winds kicked up about 20 mile an hour. Had some good snows. That was probably one of the toughest sits I've had in quite a while.
Drinking warm drinks, coffee, just to keep you warm.
Oh, I had the Hunter's Blend, but I
didn't last long.
No, I had a thermos with me, and I did reach for it quite a few times.
There you go. But that was Thursday, and from there it was just no one going. You were bow hunting then.
Yeah, because muzzleloader season didn't open in that zone until Friday.
Correct.
And, the kids were arriving that night from Backwater Legacies, and then I switched over to the smoke pole at that point. But yeah, they rolled into town Thursday. I got back into camp. Last shooting light was 5:24, 5:25. Last legal shooting light. So
okay.
I waited it out, got down, and I was in contact with David Boggs and the crew. There was two different crews coming.
Okay.
And they were separated by a few hours in between.
Oh, okay.
But David and his crew rolled in about 7 o'clock ish. I was finishing up my dinner, and they came in, and we had more dinner.
More dinner.
Yeah, we had nice butterfly backstrap steak, deer steak, marinated. OMG is all I can say.
Well, wait a minute.
Oh my
you already had dinner, so why'd you have another dinner?
Because I wasn't passing up deer meat, and it was the bomb.com. I mean, it was great. I mean, we had a good time talking, catching up, and and actually, you guys should have seen we posted that video. I went live in the kitchen as we were preparing dinner that night. So if you go down the page a little bit here on Facebook later on, you'll be able to see what we were doing. So yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Nice. Billy often gives you a little hint to switch to Baffin camp slippers, and then you can add a few hand warmers. He thinks they're a total game changer.
Yeah, I've had something similar that was passed on to me by a family member that was making something. I mean, there was something that was an insert type deal for those.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like things down by my feet like that, extra in my boots or whatever. I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about, how they work, but I'd have to look at them. But.
Right, exactly. So, so here they come. You ate again.
Yeah.
A typical deer camp where you're eating.
Right. And then after a couple stories, the kids rolled in. They rolled in a little late, so. But it wasn't go to bedtime. I mean, we had an early rise the next morning. I think it was 5 o'clock for breakfast call before we get out and hit the field.
Well, did you get out to set up the blinds, get the heaters out for them?
I did that when I got up and went in to hunt that first day.
Okay.
The day prior. I took, first thing I did, drove around. I had to drop 2 heaters off. I had to open up all the blinds, get them prepped. And by that time, it was 11:30.
Okay, so you did all your prepping, then you did the hunting. Okay.
Yeah, I think I got to stand about 11:30, 12 o'clock. So like I said, 5.5, 6 hours.
You weren't hunting. Did you see a lot of deer then when you were like driving around? No, didn't see a lot of deer at all.
No, it was cold. Saw some day-old tracks in the snow.
Okay.
So we knew deer were in the area. I was like, okay, I went to all 4 blinds, did a little scouting just to make sure, a little recon, make sure we were putting them in the right spots, and got the heaters set in 2 of the stands, and we were ready to rock. And I parked my, you know how I am about driving.
Yeah. Yep.
but it was the dynamic of the way I had to do things to get those propane bottles. I mean, the big propane.
Well, you have
tanks
the
in.
big 20 gallons, right?
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to drive in at dark and do this, so I can walk out to my stand, hunt, and then walk back, get it, and drive back in, or I can just drive in, get the job done, and park away from my hunting area,
Right.
and walk in. So that's what I chose to do.
Not seeing any deer, but did you hear any coyotes?
Not the first night. No, actually, I saw 2 deer that first night in the stand.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were 150, 200 yards away, and I seen them come off neighbor's property, and I'm watching them, and actually they were feeding. They were scratching in the oak, the leaves through the snow into the leaves,
Looking for acorns.
Still looking for acorns, and I was downwind of them, and they looked in like a 90 degrees across me, and just stood up, and then away they went. And I'm like, okay, coyote, buck, whatever, I don't know. And I kept watching, wait, watch, and there was nothing.
Okay.
I spent like a half hour studying that area.
Yeah, exactly. Waiting for whatever they're looking at popping out.
So I don't know what spooked them. Something spooked them, and away they went. And that was really it for that first evening hunt.
Okay, cool, good deal. It's one of those things. You're not hunting, but you're out walking the property. Mm-hmm. You're gonna see something usually that just is like, it's like, oh, great.
Yep.
I'm not hunting and I see whatever.
Right.
But yeah. That's good. Good to get everything. Then they came in. You had a 5 o'clock, but did you let them go to bed right away to get to sleep?
No, we held class.
You held class.
Well, what we always do at our place, because this is basically for these kids from the Backwater Legacy Hunting Academy.
Yes.
These are junior cadets that are helping as mentors for the younger cadets, and they're chosen by their peers to come up and hunt.
Okay.
So the top 4 vote getters get to come up, and we've done it. This is the 3rd year now, and they're helping us do a Doe Reduction Hunt. It's what it is. It's a muzzleloader hunt for youth that we put on, and we're reducing the doe numbers in our area. But you've heard me talk so many times about how we need to educate people on the right does to shoot. So, if you remember the video that I produced along with Wayne Sitton and with Perry Wood,
yes,
a year ago, January, about shooting right does.
Which does to shoot?
Yeah, you can see here's the kids here getting schooled on how to judge does.
Okay, it's always good to make it a learning moment when you can, and obviously that video, it does wonders, and being able to sit back, watch them guys tell you how to do it, it's awesome.
Yeah, and the kid closest here, I got to give props to him. This kid come up on his own. This is Marquise. He was one of the winners last year. He came up to be a help in the kitchen and around camp. See, he just come up.
Okay.
To help out. So
excellent.
Yeah, and then the other 3 youth there sitting there. Those are 3 of the 4. And the gentleman there holding up the red cup, that is the father of the 4th kid who was chosen. So,
okay.
And you can see me there with a furrowed brow sitting on the couch.
That's right. You got that look.
So
awesome. So before you go to bed, you're going to learn.
Yep.
So you can sleep, take it all in, and then wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah. And we also had the guides go through this as well. So that way the guides could help them understand what they're doing and what they're shooting. And, and legally here in Michigan, I think it's 17 under, you have to be with an adult.
And yep.
So, that was part of the other reason. So, but yeah, that was really the first day. So, you know what? We're bumping up on our first break here. Let's go ahead. We're going to step outside, take our first break. We will come back right after this. All right, folks.
All right.
So, who we got on tonight?
We got Travis Minton, Ron Moses checking in. Evening, Ron.
Tom
Billy
Hansen.
Hoffman, Jason Pfister, Jennifer, my niece.
Speaking of Jason, we've shot a tournament with him down in Ohio. We have a tournament announcement, do we not?
Oh, yeah. We'll have to announce that. Absolutely. We got to send out a big congratulations.
All righty. Don't let me forget that.
We're not going to. As soon as you get this saved off.
Yeah, I know. I can't see him staring into the light.
Don't go towards the light.
That's right.
You can stare at the light. Just don't go towards the light.
I feel like a moth. I feel like a frozen moth.
Right.
I'm just now starting to thaw out from this trip, man, I tell you. Okay, here we go. Stand by. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, second segment of the show. Sitting here talking about our youth reduction doe hunt that we do up at our camp with the kids from Backwater Legacies. And so, yeah, after that initial schooling, we got them to bed, got them, some shut-eye. And, the next morning, we hit the field.
You hit the field.
Yeah.
Now you went solo.
Yep.
And the other 4 hunters had a
heater.
Okay. Besides the heater, they had a guide with them to help them, and a heater,
and a box blind,
and a heater. So here you are. You're on the ground. It doesn't look cold at all. Look at that. You got sunshine.
Yeah.
Come on. Man.
Yeah. Sunshine. Mm-hmm.
Now, it didn't work much.
No, it was this morning when we got out at daybreak. It was 14 or 15 degrees.
Crunchy.
Yes, it was really. Yeah, it was. The snow was really crunchy, and that's what really ticked me off because I'm trying to get into a wood lot and get set up, and there's no way you can make an advancement into an area that's undisturbed with snowpack and try to get through without making noise.
No, you're gonna make noise like
snow and leaves.
You might be wearing snowshoes.
Yeah, right.
Because that's how big your feet.
Yeah. It was.
Were right.
So I just got in. I cleared out a spot around a tree, hunkered down, and waited.
You waited in this shot here, with the sun being up and everything. Is there a lot of shooting for muzzleloader?
There, certain days there was. There were a couple days there was, but this morning there wasn't.
This was Friday morning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect setup. Wind in my face, sun at my back. I'm looking up the ridge, waiting for the does to come off of the neighbor's property down into my food plot. And I'm in between, getting ready to Shanghai them, so to speak. So, but no, I saw 5 deer that morning. I saw 2, and I was splitting ridges, and I was sitting down in the dip of the ridges.
Okay.
And trying to, number one, make sure that if anybody was doing any shooting around, I was plenty covered because I was in an area where 2 other hunters were. I was plenty far enough away from them, but for my own safety as well, I made sure that I was below the ground level of the high ridge.
Right.
Exactly what I'm saying. So, I picked the wrong ridge twice.
Twice.
Well, so to speak.
You're not a gambling man.
The first 2 deer I saw was one ridge too far.
Okay.
And then the 3 deer I seen later that morning I was one ridge too far. I wasn't far enough on one, and I was too far on the next. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Definitely not your gambling type of guy.
No. So, that's the way it goes. That's why I call it hunting, not killing.
That's exactly why you call it hunting. Mm-hmm. And you guys had breakfast. Obviously, you guys got out there. Mm-hmm. But what was the attitude like get that first morning for those hunters getting out there?
Sleepy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they were excited. I mean, these kids are from Indiana, so the 4 that came up, they've not really experienced a hunt like this, and I warned them. I warned them, I don't know how many times, like, these deer are not like your Indiana deer. Number one, they're a little smaller. Number 2, these deer have been pressured heavily for about the last 3 weeks, maybe more, depending on the surrounding area archery hunter and how much driving's been going on around different pieces of property, and not to mention the coyotes. So I said, you've got to be sitting on go. When I say sitting on go, you've got to be sitting. You've got to have your rifle in both hands with your thumb ready near the safety, not on it, but near it, and be ready to come up into a shooting window and shoot. Well, yeah, even one of the guides got busted that first morning.
Oh, the guide even got busted.
Well, we had one of the young ladies had 5 deer coming through, and he was trying to judge which one to shoot, and they were all does. And I said, well, you should have just shot the first one you had access to. But he was trying to do the right thing and shoot the oldest.
Right.
And he had the young lady set up in the wrong window thinking they were going to cross in front. And he got to the window and he did one of these. He kind of leaned over a little bit to look through the window.
And he busted him.
The oldest doe, hi there. And away she went. Took the rest of them.
I was just about saying the rest followed.
And she didn't run off. The deer were on the move. She's moving. She looks up, sees movement in the window, and I mean, that's how skittish they are. You know, they're not used to that. They're used to being able to move a little bit down there.
Yeah.
And that's what he told me. He says, I just didn't think she'd see me. But silhouetted him through the window behind her.
Oh,
so
yeah,
saw
that'll
that
do
movement,
it.
you
Yeah,
know?
that's all it takes when
And,
they're pressured.
Yeah. So she didn't run off. She just turned, walked away, and the flag was up, and they all, marching orders, they all followed.
They all followed the flag.
Yeah. So she had opportunity, but didn't connect.
You know, and you know, and Dane Anderson on Facebook Live, he's still buckless, so he needs some help over there.
Me too, man.
And Mike is here.
I'm deerless, actually.
Yeah,
so I haven't shot a deer. So that gives you an indication for the rest of this show that I didn't shoot anything.
right, exactly. And Tim Cias asked, what makes a buck's antlers darker than some others?
I've asked that many times, and I've gotten many different answers, whether it's due to environment or due to nutrition. I've always, you know, I've heard the old swamp bucks have darker antlers. Yeah, those are all typical Michigan antlers on those two. They're not darker than the others.
I think it's diet.
I
think mine are darker.
I think it's diet, and you know, traditionally they say the swamp bucks are darker. Well, you know, maybe where they eat most of their food might be in a more rich organic environment. I don't know. I will ask Dr. Kroll if I'm able to get up to the deer necrops this year, and if that happens, I will ask.
That'd be the guy to ask.
Yeah, so
you know, and there you go. There's a perfect, you know, like Dr. Deer. Here you are doing the same thing with your, and then here, they get busted with the slightest movement, not knowing how these deer react. And I bet you it was a shock for them. It was like, whoa.
Well, you know, and that's what I told the kids when they left this morning. We all gathered around before they left, and you know, kind of said our goodbyes. And I said, I want you to take one thing away from this. Even though I don't want to give away too much on the story, but I said the one thing I want you to take away from this whole adventure you just came on. Remember, no matter where you hunt, other than your home area, your home state, whether it be down south, up north, out west, or a different country, the game you're chasing, even if it's the same game you chase at home, you're going to hunt it differently no matter where you go because of the conditions that they live in and the hunting style that you will be doing in those areas. I said, they're not the same. Even though you're one state south of us, I said, it's not the same deal. You know, it's not the same conditions.
Right, exactly.
So.
And whether you're out west, you're mid states, or you're out east, north, south, it's all different.
Right.
Well, you know, we hunt them on farmland. Well,
right.
You hunt deer on your farm, but up here they might be hunted differently.
Right.
And like the biggest one you talked about was pressure.
Yeah.
You know, pressure is huge.
Whether it be human or predator, or both.
Or all three.
Yeah.
You know?
Or due to the food source. And we talked about that as well. I think it was the second day, the second hunt in the afternoon we're coming in. And one girl, she hunted first morning, first evening, second morning. And she's like, I haven't seen a deer yet. She goes, are there deer here? Are you sure? I'm like, there's deer here. She goes, well, why are we shooting them if there's not a lot of them? I go, they're here. But the problem is, I said, okay, so we stopped in a food plot that had a pinch point, and we had a lot of browse around. And actually, we showed them a bear den. And then we were kind of standing at that pinch point where the bear den was. And I said, right here, look, here's a prime example. We had sweet fern that was growing up through there, up through the snow. It was up about yay high. I said, look at all this sweet fern here. I said, what do you notice? And they're like, well, there's no leaves on it. I go, well, yeah. I said, besides that, I said, look at it. What do you notice? Well, some of them got the little buds on the end, and most of them don't. And I go, bingo. I said, the deer are eating the ends of those off. That's what they're after, that woody plant material, that little bud on the end. I said, they're eating that. And I said, and these that are just sticks, I said, that's browse. I said, now, look around you. I said, what do you see? Well, we see pine trees. I said, okay. I said, what do you notice about the pine trees? And they're kind of puzzled. I go, look at it closely. What do you see or not see? And then one kid goes, and he picked up on it quick. He goes, well, there's no limbs on the bottom, about from head high down. I go, bingo. I said, that's what happens in starvation mode. I said, they kick in to eat whatever they can get their little teeth on. And I said, think about the deer's head height and what they can reach. I said, from there down, there's really nothing. Because you can see through that pine thicket, from 5 feet down.
Right, exactly.
And I said, that's the reason why. And I said, and right now these deer are pressured so much, they're in the deep, heavy cover right now. They're just getting ready to get in survival mode. Winter's here. I seen the ones pawing through the acorns, trying to find acorns.
They'll start there, and then they'll work their way to eat the other stuff. And and like you said, you got your food plots out there with.
They're pawing through those and getting through those as well. Hitting those in the later evening. But
how much snow did you have?
3 inches, 4 inches maybe. It wasn't deep. I mean, it was very manageable, easy to walk. So it wasn't bad at all.
And that's the thing, hunting differently.
Yeah.
Whether you're wherever you're at, it's a different. Like she was, she maybe at home she's expected to see a deer after deer after deer. I don't know, but that's it, right?
Right.
Especially then and now up there, we're tailing off after a 2-week, 15-day rifle season.
Right.
Where I'm pretty sure it's pretty pressured up there.
Right. Yeah. And then we're coming right back in on 'em a week later. And you're coming after them with smoke poles.
Yep.
You don't have as many hunters in the woods, but there's a little more added pressure. It's back on them again. They hear the cars, they hear the car doors, they hear people at their camps.
Well, and what that does is also the people that have been there and have been successful. I'm going to go on the assumption that they've left their gut pals, which just brings in the predation.
Absolutely,
it brings them guys in. So okay, double jeopardy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And on top of it, like you said, the predators. The coyotes. The coyotes are running. And actually, I've got a great story about that coming up here a little later in the show that got up close and personal.
Oh, nice. That's one of the things. It's the different stories that we're going to hear tonight. But after a day of hunting, you had to eat, though. Absolutely.
Well, they had dinner prepared when we got back, but what I didn't know is a couple of guys, pretty good fishermen. We got a trout pond and they caught dinner and had that ready. That was for the second night. So this is on the first night. That's Paul on the left. Paul is for those of you on the live stream, you can see, Paul is basically the CEO of Backwater Legacy. He's the one that developed this program for these kids and got up and running and kind of runs the program. And Rick, standing there on the right, he was our camp cook, and the guy could cook. I'm just going to tell you.
Well, let me see. You had butterflies the night before.
Yeah, that was from David's crew.
Now you're going to have a fish dinner.
Yeah. Well, this night when we came in, when they caught those fish, we actually had venison chili.
Okay.
So that was dinner that night. They caught those that night, but this was for the next night.
Okay, I see that they're preparing yourself for the next day.
Yeah.
Kind of creating your menu.
Yeah. It was either that or more chili.
Oh, gotcha. Nice.
Actually, they had a little something else prepared for us that second night too that I wasn't quite expecting. But I tell you what, we're bumping up here on our second break. Let's go ahead and take our second break. We'll come back and we'll dive more into this 4-day hunt. We'll be right back after this. Okay, guys, what we got going on here?
Benjamin Farrell, Shane Collins, Lim Walker team members for life.
Right on.
My brother's on. Kelly's watching.
Got my Lim Walker hat on tonight.
David Boggs is showing up in the house.
Mr. Boggs, you missed me giving your daughter birthday wishes right off the top of the show, the very first thing. You make sure.
Start over.
Yeah, we'll start the show over for David?
No, we're not. We're not starting over. He can go start over.
Yeah, he can go back to the beginning. So.
All right.
So yes, David, we made sure to give her a shout out. For the guy to come up and miss his daughter's birthday, that's the way we repaid. But to Cheyenne again, you know what? David's on now. Cheyenne again, happy 11th birthday. So make sure we got her twice. That way, if she happens to be sitting with him, she heard it. So,
my brother's wife just ordered Hunter's Blend and used the promo code.
Thank you. You're not going to regret it.
No, you're not. Well, speaking of that, we'll have to give it a shout out when we come back into the live.
Okay, here we go. Stand by. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Third segment of the show. We're 2 days deep into the hunt.
We're 2 days deep into the hunt.
Yep.
We're drinking through our Hunter's Blend coffee, which gives you a chance probably to go over to the website and order some for Christmas. Get it before Christmas.
That's right. And Danny, how can we help them?
We can help them. We can give them a 10% discount on top of their order by using the promo code capital UNJ.
There you go.
And that'll get you a discount right there at huntersblendcoffee.com.
10% of your order.
That's right. You can either have... I'm spilling. See, that's why I drank it all.
Danny's knocking stuff
They've got the regular roast and a dark roast.
And they call the dark roast black powder in honor of our muzzleloader season.
Absolutely. So
speaking of muzzleloader season,
that's
what we're drinking tonight is the black powder.
There you go. So get on over there and get it before Christmas. Have it on Christmas morning.
You know what? Get an extra bag and give one to a family or friend.
There you go. Put it in the stocking.
That's right. That'd be a good stocking stuffer.
Absolutely. So, all right, you're in. Not seeing a lot of deer, but was that day one?
That was day one. That was
for the muzzleloader season. Day one. That was Friday.
Yeah, one girl had opportunity. The other girl didn't see anything. Another gentleman didn't see anything, and the second gentleman, I believe he saw. Might have seen nothing or saw just a couple. I can't remember.
Okay.
So, yeah. So the kids are coming in, and they're all got that puzzled look, They're, we're not seeing. And we had to have a little education again, reaffirm them. There are deer here. It's just this is not your typical deer hunt. I mean, this is late season, Michigan. It's cold, and that's the other thing. If you're going to send your kids on a hunt somewhere. And I'm not knocking them, but make sure they're prepared with the right clothing. David, being the prepared guy he is, the Boy Scout, always prepared, had clothing of different sizes, shapes and sizes for the kids to make sure that they, in case they came ill-prepared, they'd have enough clothes. And actually, yeah, we had to dig into his pile a little bit and make sure. But, when we tell you it's cold, it's cold.
Yeah, cold is, it's not... It's not 55 degrees cold.
No. It's like
looking out on the live feed on our live stream, Charles Byram was giving a shout out to Dane Anderson that he is not alone.
Okay.
So
you guys are not. Like I said, I have not tagged yet. So
that makes 3 of you.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if I'm going to get another opportunity to get out this year or not. So we'll see.
But. With that being said, on to Saturday morning, back up and at 'em and out there, and away you guys went hunting again.
Yes.
More blue sky.
Yep, blue sky, beautiful morning to be out, and
cold.
It was a very, 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 very slow morning. Nobody saw anything.
Really?
Yeah, another, I think it was 15, 16 degree morning, daybreak. Cold, deer weren't moving. It was just, but to back up just a touch, we did hear coyotes. I'm trying to think. On the first that first evening, as we were coming out, 5:20. Was it? I'm trying to remember.
Was it Friday night that you heard the coyotes, or was?
I'm so confused of what day was which day. To tell you the truth, yeah, we heard. See, last night. Last night was Saturday. Yeah, so Friday night, as we're coming out, I heard coyotes at 5:20.
Okay.
So we're like, okay, we got coyotes. No big deal.
Yeah, heard those before.
Mental check. Keep that for later in the show.
Right. Exactly.
So on this morning, it was basically a dead morning. There was nothing going on. We regrouped, and this on the way back in. This was the day we had the little field study where we had the kids out.
Oh yeah.
And kind of taught them a little bit about overbrowsing, and give them a little field. Schooling on deer management and habitat management, and what we're doing, why we're doing it, and kind of what to look for. So
right, exactly why exactly what you're up to, why you're doing it, and then being open minded to it. How did it all click with them? And
kind of like I said, they're getting just a bit fidgety. I mean, you got teenagers, and in today's society, I think we're geared towards instant gratification, instant success, and we want to be seeing something, and it's not coming fast enough. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. Well, back in the day when you saw 7 deer in a week and you were ecstatic.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, I saw 7 this week.
Right.
Not 7 in an hour.
You know, I need to back up just a touch. That previous evening, one of the gentlemen, one of the young guys, he did see some deer. Like I said, I'm losing track of which day is which day because I'm just, everything rolls together here. But that first evening, he actually got 2 shots off. Yeah. Like I said, I thought he saw 2 or 3. I forgot that evening he did shoot, and there was 2 shots. There was 1 shot, and then just about enough time to reload, and then there was a second shot, and I'm like, okay, we got a dead deer, cool. No. The first one was a swing and a miss, and the second one was a swing and a miss, and he was reloading the third time, and the deer kind of stood there and looked at him. Yeah, I'm not hanging around for a third shot. And
3 strikes, I'm not out.
Yeah, so they took off. He was hunting out of an extremely high elevated box blind.
Okay.
And we think that might have had something to do with the fact that, you know, there's really no ledge in that to rest on and shoot out of. The fact that shooting down on it. We were trying to play through our head, well, why? Or did the scope get bumped? But there's more to that story here a little later. So
nice.
But so yeah, the second morning, second morning, they really didn't see anything. It was cold. Came in, regrouped, and when they went back out for the evening hunt, one of the young ladies was hunting in this blind here down on my field.
Okay.
And she had opportunity. In comes 3 does, and she is sitting there with her dad. Her dad says, you know, Doe, deer, get your gun. Well, once again, the gun's in the corner. She's got the cell phone out, he told me later, on her cell phone. And then as she put that down and reached for the gun, by that time, they were across the field moving on. You know, I mean, they weren't running, but they...
Like you said, your deer were typically moving at all times.
Yeah, that was the thing. All the deer that we saw, everybody's seen, because that's the thing. When we got back in, I said, I want to report what you saw, when you saw it, where you saw it at, and what were they doing. You know, trying to build this report, basically, to understand what's going on in the area.
Right.
So, yeah, she had opportunity.
It ran by.
Yep, it did.
It walked briskly by.
Yeah. So that would have been Saturday evening, and that evening, Saturday evening was also the same evening. That was the last evening that the kids hunted, because they had to be out on the road this morning at 6 a.m. So that evening, I chose to sit with my old friend, Mr. David.
Mr. David Boggs.
Yep, we got him out. He went with me, and we sat down, plopped down next to a tree.
It's a pretty big tree.
Yeah, well, there's 2 trees. I was on a tree, and he was on a tree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
I was going to say, it's a big tree. But...
Yeah, so, we didn't take up one tree together. But, so, yeah, he wasn't hunting. He just came with just to sit, and actually... We did more talking than actual probably hunting. It was
more
good.
Blah-blahing than anything.
Yeah, it was really great spending time with Dave. You know, we've talked about David here on the show, the accent that he had. And
yep, absolutely.
It was nice to have David with us.
It's nice to see him. First of all, like you said, nice to have him with us. Number 2, nice to see him getting up on his feet and around.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, and that's one of the big shout-outs to him about bouncing back. It's a slow road.
Yep.
But he's getting there. Obviously, he's out there with you and making things happen.
Yeah, we did some walking. But as we're heading to this stand, the kids are going out to their stands. We just did a little walkabout. You know, David and I did. So, and as we're on the way to where we're going to go, we hear gunshot, muzzleloader shot, and then we hear, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're pretty decent ways away from us. And this gentleman here, this is the guy who missed the day before twice, and he connected on an old doe. So we aged this doe. It looked to be about 7.5 years old. And yeah, David. No, I didn't mention the bear attack.
We'll get back to that.
Thanks, David.
So here he is. This is Saturday night. This is the last night.
Yeah.
You guys were, and he had it 7.5-year-old doe.
Yep, they were all going out as a group together on their way to their stands and getting ready to split off. And as they came up to one of the fields, there was 2 does standing out there feeding, and he dropped that at, I think he said it was 125 or 150 yards. It was
nice
a long
poke.
Yeah. So he redeemed himself. So we know the scope's on.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
So yeah, he connected, and actually this kid here, we talked quite a bit. If you remember our good friend Perry Wood,
yes,
he came down the first night and came down and had dinner with us, him and his girlfriend. And once we sat down with everybody and started talking, it was one of those deals where you're sitting in camp and the conversation goes from one thing to the other, all the way from deer management, habitat management, to hunts that everybody's been on. And lo and behold, he hunted a piece of property in Indiana, and they had mutual friends. I mean, the connection was unreal.
There was a connection.
Yeah, but as we're talking about habitat management, the young guy there that shot the deer, he starts asking questions. He's the only youth at the table, and he's leaned in. He's engaged.
He's absorbing.
He's in deep, and he started asking questions. Some of the questions he asked when I was talking about the does the first night, and then the things he was asking of Perry, like, that kid's going to be a hunter. He's going to be a serious hunter. The kid's, I mean, at that age, he is doing things the right way.
Well, he's also going to learn the conservation side of it when he's asking the right questions. Right?
Yeah. So I told him, I said, you give him contact information. I said, I want to know how your food plot does this coming season. So
right, exactly. You know what? That was last night. How long does the season go? Dan Anderson's asking how long our season goes.
I believe, I don't know if it's a week or 2 weeks up in that zone. There's 3 different zones. They hit at different times, and a couple of them overlap. I'd have to get the reg book out. But it's either a week or 2 weeks.
And then we go back to bow season. Yep. Bow season ends typically January 1st, but there's some areas that are going to go into January.
Actually, I tell you what, I know it's a week because next week, which would be the 15th is on a Saturday. I think it's the 14th or maybe it's the 17th. It's 17th because there's a 3-day window there. Once the season ends, I take that back. It's 10 days. Muzzleloader season in our zone is 10 days, and then the very next day opens up the late antlerless rifle season.
Ah, gotcha.
So we're back at it again with rifles on antlerless deer. So
right,
but where's I going with this? But the kid he was absorbing information, digging, getting information. But it was one of those conversations, and I told him later. I said, I wish I had taken my voice recorder and just laid it on the table. It was a very in-depth, engaging conversation for about 2 to 3 hours.
And you know, and it's good as an adult, older adult, being able to pass that on and having the person receptive to what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
You know, that just makes it all the more enjoyable to actually say it and talk about it instead of kind of getting the hint that you're just kind of putting it between the ears and it's just going out in one out the other.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, and I'm not saying anything bad about the other 3 kids. It's just they were doing different things at that time. But this young man, at his age, it was so engaged already in deer management, habitat management. He was thirsty for the knowledge.
Like you said, hopefully we hear about his food plot next year.
Absolutely. So. But that evening, so he shot that deer, and like I said,
did he got it?
Later on, he did.
Okay.
I told him. Actually, they hit me on the phone. They said, "What do we do?" I said, "Bring it to camp. Do not gut it in the field." I said, "Number one, I don't want the guts in the field there." I said, "If we get coyotes tonight," I said, "we need to use it for bait."
Yep.
So that leads me to the story with me and David sitting out there by the tree. We spent that afternoon.
Is it about a bear?
No, he's lying. He's telling stories. There's no bear. There is no bear.
You probably thought you heard a bear.
The only bear is the guy sitting there behind me.
Oh, with the orange hands?
Yeah, that's the only bear I saw.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll get the real story someday.
We're sitting there, and we're getting down to last shooting light. And there's like 10 minutes left. I said, Dave, let's just do a walk. Let's walk. There's a little field over here. Let's go over to it and just let's see if there's some deer in it. And if there is, we get a shot. So I'm walking down, and we get down to the edge of the field, just about where we need to be. I look at my watch. It's 5:20. We got 4 minutes of shooting light left. And all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah. I said, Dave, I said, guess what? And he goes, what? I goes, deer hunt just turned into a coyote hunt.
Right? So, I was about to say, you know, that switches.
Yeah, so we flipped the switch immediately, and we got into a position where I thought they might come through and started calling. And lo and behold, we had a response, and all of a sudden, okay, so like we're facing this way, you know, looking straight ahead where we're at, kind of staged for them. We heard them, and then all of a sudden, about 15, 20 degrees in a different direction, we heard a pack.
Really?
About 6, 7 or so. And they were fairly close. They fired up immediately and kept going. Called a little more. They went absolutely nuts. And then a pack way off behind us fired off. They were too far away. So I'm like, Dave, I said, we got to get these dogs in here if we can before I can't see through the scope anymore. And we got to a point where we could hear them coming. We could hear them crashing in the swamp.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, they were coming. And I couldn't see. I said, let's get out of here. Let's make a quick phone call back to camp, get these kids up here, and get them set up on these coyotes. So we got out of that area quickly, made the phone call, and as we were coming out, they're coming up. They got out. They parked the truck. They got out, got their gear, got set up, and Dave and I came on back to camp. But I have never had coyotes respond that quickly and come in. They were. It wasn't like they were running into us.
No, but
you could hear them.
Yeah, they were on their way.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know, 200 yards maybe. You know, I'm like, man, we're going to smoke one tonight. You know, but it didn't happen. But I tell you what, that was a barrel of fun messing with those dogs.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you gotta get a hold of Chris Kreiner. Mm-hmm. His night vision.
Well, the guy that brought his gear up, and set the kids up. He's big into predator hunting as well. And I told him about Chris, and I said, I got a buddy back here in Michigan. I said, do you want to hunt some yotes in January, February? He said, absolutely. I said, okay, I'm going to get you two guys together. We're coming up here. And I said, we're going to lay some lead.
Right.
So
you scared some kids?
That bear. I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that.
You're supposed to be hunting, teaching these kids, not scaring them.
Well, okay, so when we did the little field exercise,
right,
I did mention the fact that we took them out near a bear den.
Yes.
It's an old bear den. It's kind of caved in now. Well, the kids didn't. You know, we were walking up to it and they're like, okay, yeah, right here on this hillside. I said, right around this little it was big mounted dirt. I said, right on their side is the den. I said, okay, guys, you know, I said, come on, you know, come with us. And we're walking up, and Dave and I said, Dave, I said, let's give it to him. I said, let's scare him. He knew what he was going to do. So I'm kind of the first one. I'm kind of walking up and I'm peeking around, looking at it, and I go, oh my gosh. And we all turned and ran towards the kids. They literally crapped their pants. And one kid was close enough. He heard what we were going to do, and he still got scared.
Yes, the old bear trick.
So, you guys are mean. We thought a bear was coming after us.
Well, you got to be ready at all times. Yeah. You never know when it might actually be true.
Well, made sure we didn't have firearms in their hands, so, you know. But,
wow.
Yeah, that was, I forgot about, I did forget about that. Yeah, David said, I thought a couple of those kids were going to run home.
Run right by the camp, keep on going, and show up in Indiana.
Yeah, I think they had to change their hunting clothes. Yeah,
right.
I did forget about that.
Nice.
But no, the coyotes, man, that was.
I think you've had more encounters with coyotes this year than deer.
I have. I mean, seriously. I mean, we talked about that at camp pretty extensively, you know, and I kind of used that experience as well to talk about, you know, predation pressure on the deer as well, you know, and you know the guy who hunts coyotes down in Indiana, he was asking today. He's like, well, when you get, you know, snow deep, real deep up here, he goes, doesn't that just keep the coyotes away from the deer? And I go, no, it's right the opposite. And he goes, well, why? I said, well, the snowpack gets so hard and crunchy, the dogs run on top of the snow. They're light enough and their paws are big enough, they can run on top of the snow generally without crashing through. The deer, with their hooves, they're just like us. I said, it's a perfect scenario for them to eat deer. You know,
right? It's a nice little menu.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, it's just, once again, people hunting different areas, not understanding the dynamics of a different area.
Right.
You know, part of the United States. It's like when we went out to Colorado. You know, we knew how to hunt deer in Michigan, but we didn't know how to hunt deer in Colorado. You know, we had to be somewhat educated on it, and then they kind of turned us loose. You know,
it's all different. It's a different game, right?
Yeah, you typically can't take what you can take general knowledge, but the specifics of how to hunt a certain area it's always different.
Yep, exactly. So you know, so I'm glad to hear somebody got one. Somebody went home with venison.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, she was an old doe. Let me throw that picture back up here again.
Well, you said 7.5, right? So
yeah,
she was one of the older ones that needed to go.
Yep. So yeah, she was an old girl, big doe too. So, and that was the other thing. He asked me. He said, "Is that a big doe?" And I'm like, "So yeah, for this area, that's pretty good sized doe. You know, I mean, she's old. She's an old girl."
Right. Exactly.
And I said, "Yeah, that's the way it is. They're not big corn-fed deer like they are down in Indiana.
No.
You know, on the hoof, they probably got 30, 40 pounds more down there. I would say, maybe even more.
Oh yeah, especially definitely.
So
it's like our southern deer.
But we come in that night. Not only did we have fish, but for the very first time, that was a sample at lunchtime. Squirrel stew.
Squirrel stew.
I've never eaten squirrel in my life, and I made a post about it, and everybody. They're like, seriously? I mean, they couldn't believe it. I've never eaten squirrel. But I haven't. You know, I hunted them when I was real little with my dad.
Right.
But I didn't eat them. You know, Mom didn't like it. Dad cooked it. He ate it. We stayed away from it. You know, it was almost like, I always said, tree rats, limb bacon. That's what we called them. I tell you what,
it looks like there's a little bit of peppers in there with some stew, with some squirrel, and
it was out of sight and dynamite.
Really?
Yeah. Well, the thing is the guy who cooked, Rick that cooked it, he was cooking the food there. He walks up to me, and we're all sitting there talking, before we eat lunch. And he walks up and he goes, "Here, try this." And I looked and I said, I said, "I know where you're from." I said, "I ain't eating until you tell me what it is." He goes, "Just try it." And I said, "No, I'm not going to try it until you tell me what it is." And he said, "It's squirrel." I said, "All right, I'll try it." And yeah, I'm like, "Oh, this is so good." It was awesome.
Gonna have to get the recipe sent to us.
I already do.
Good.
I threatened him. We had dinner that night when we ate. I ate 2 big bowls of it, and I said, "Oh, by the way," I said, "the recipe comes out to me." I said, "Or you're not leaving." I said, "I will chain you to a fence post." I said,
"Till we get it?"
I said, "I want the recipe." I said, "You con me into eating it." I said, "So now I want it." And he told me so.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Good stuff.
We're gonna have to put a cookbook together or something.
Yeah. Well, Tim Cias, when I posted that, he gave me grief. He's like, "You're from Alabama and you've never eaten squirrel?" And I said, "You know what?" I said, I really only hunted them when I was a kid. And I said, "But you know what? Mike Adams is going to start hunting squirrel again."
And Tim, you answered your own question with the question.
What? Oh, what's that?
He's from Alabama.
Oh, hey, easy. So yeah, it was a very interesting week or 4 days. So.
I'm glad they were able to get up. I think their drive home was really good. I don't think there was any bad weather in the neighborhood.
No, but I tell you what, let's take a last break. We'll wrap up the show, and we'll wrap up the hunt. Okay, so we'll step outside. We'll take our last break, and we'll be right back after this. And for those of you on the live stream,
last segment of the show.
You got any questions? Anything?
Throw them at them. Throw them at the bear whisperer, or whatever you want to call him here.
Yeah.
David Boggs and you. Put you two guys together and look what's happening.
That's right. Scaring innocent little children.
Scaring little innocent children all the way back home.
Yeah, it was funny. That was funny. Well, given the opportunity, and you've got people that have never been around a bear den, and they ask, well, what do they do? They're hibernating this time of year.
You hope.
When you walk up there with a group of, 8, 9, 10 people,
right?
You have the opportunity to make an impact at that point.
Yes,
and we did. We made a very good impact. Oh, that was funny. I completely forgot about that.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back. Last segment of the show. Wrapping up this 4-day whirlwind with these kids up north. It was a really good time. Another thing that came out of this was the second morning, which would have been Saturday morning, one of the guides gets out with one of the young ladies, and they're heading to the blind. They get to the blind and realize they forgot something.
Their gun?
Yep. Calls back to camp. Can you meet me halfway? I'm walking. Can you run a gun in for us?
That's like going out with your bow without arrows.
Yeah, so we called him the gunless guide.
Yep, absolutely.
You're
going to get him with a knife or something, obviously.
Yeah. And something else I forgot to mention, the night that David and I went out, we took another kid out that hadn't seen a deer yet. And this kid had only deer hunted one time. He went to Kentucky, and he never saw any deer. So he's never seen a deer other than when he was hunting.
Okay.
When he wasn't hunting, like driving on the road, he's seen deer, but he's never had an encounter in the woods. So he hadn't seen anything, and I was feeling bad, and I knew the pressure was on. I'm like, okay. I said, I'll tell you what. Why don't you go with David and me? We're gonna push into a place that's had no pressure, little pressure. I said, and we're gonna put you on a spot down away from us with another guy. And so that guy took him down. He found the spot where I want him to go, and they set up. And within an hour and a half, they had 3 deer. I think it was 3. He said 3 does come in. Pick the biggest one. She's standing pretty as you want, broadside. Snap.
Ooh.
First cap goes off. They grab another cap. Snap. Second cap goes off. We ran caps through those guns dry at the very first morning.
Oh, okay.
Make sure that the breech plug was clean, because we've had that happen with the kids too.
Yep.
So they're reaching for a third one. She took off, and he's like, "Well, your breech plug's got to be fouled or plugged." So it was one that they could pull out. It was a quick release on the back end.
Yes.
Pulled out, looked clean as a whistle. Powder was dry, or not dry. Powder. We figured the powder was damp.
Yeah.
So
some condensation into the powder.
Yep. So, but they said he was just like
a little buck fever.
Yeah. So every kid that came up, and I say kids, these are young adults.
Yep.
But they all had opportunity. Every one of them had an opportunity, whether they actually pulled the trigger and it didn't fire, whether they pulled the trigger and missed, or whether they just didn't get the gun up in time.
And
they all had
an opportunity with one successful.
Yep.
So that's all you can ask for, is they all had opportunity.
Yep. And they all saw deer, and they had a great time.
Good.
So then after last night, the kids all came back. We eat dinner. They still had to field dress that deer.
Yes.
So we had it in camp, and the
science time.
Yep, the young gentleman that was his deer. He got out there and started doing it. Well, all the kids went out. So it became like a little science lab at that point. I didn't go out there; that was their time, and a couple of the guys went out from camp. From backwaters went out.
Yep.
Was kind of coaching them through some things. Even the young ladies got their hands bloody.
Good. Well,
they all participated and did something, so they all got to participate in that camp moment of field dressing a deer.
One way to bring them all together was over guts.
Yep, so to speak.
Yeah, that's right.
So to speak.
And that's the thing that like you said, overall a great weekend with some success, some opportunity, and they take away some learning moments, whether it been at the last there of actually watching gutting a deer, or in the field missing, not being ready, and then being elected to go on the hunt.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's what we're always so concerned about with our youth of today, not being engaged in things that they should be, and being engaged in things they shouldn't be, not being polite, not learning morals, not learning ethics, not learning how to conserve game, and how to handle a firearm safely. I mean, all those things that go in that we take for granted in hunting,
right?
That we use hunting to make men and women out of these adults.
And that's the thing, and they'll learn, they'll educate. And they're gonna take that as mentors back to Backwater's legacy and pass it on.
Absolutely.
Hey, you guys, we went on this hunt, so it kind of throws the carrot out to the younger ones coming up, that if you guys
work hard, you get rewarded.
You get rewarded like they did. Yep. And that's awesome. That's like you said, it's 3 years running, where you got a group coming up, and is good, and it's also good for the adults too.
It is. I mean, we get to sit back. I mean, I saw 7 deer. Do I look at that as a successful hunt? Yeah. Did I get a deer this year? No, I didn't. Did I have a blast this weekend? Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Do I think that I see 4 kids heading in the right direction and being the future leaders of our conservation efforts? Yes.
Well, that's the whole plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
You pass it on, they pass it on, and the cycle continues.
That's what we hope.
That's right. That's the whole thing of getting and educating, getting these kids out, learning to adapt to how we got to go after getting young adults out into the field, back hunting again.
Absolutely. And it starts with smaller organizations like this. You know, I think they run, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 kids through the academy a year, you know, the 2 weeks that they're there. You know, it's mainly two different age groups. But
Right.
It's a 4-year academy, a little bit about backwaters. If you guys are interested in learning more, go to backwaterlegacies.org. That's their webpage. I'll drop the link in the show notes, so if you want to check it out. If you know a youth that might want to go to this.
And they're based in Indiana.
Indiana, yes. But they take kids from they've got kids that's come from Iowa, from North Carolina, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky. So
yeah, they're based in Indiana, but everybody they take them from all over.
Yep.
So it's not exclusive to just one state. It's their open door policy for everybody and anybody to come on in, and you know, like you said, backwaterslegacy.org. Go check it out.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's the
great
awesome
organization.
Part. Absolutely.
So, pretty much that's really all I got this week. We're pretty much bumping up on it, but
yeah, no, it sounds like a good muzzleloader weekend.
I'm tired.
Yeah, time for you to go hit the sack because you probably gotta go to work tomorrow.
I do.
So do I.
Yeah.
So, real quick, up to this point, how do you know how you guys did deer wise? Are you getting to your goals of what you needed to take? Oh, okay.
That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. I was just wondering if you guys had I know that, you know, you needed X amount of does, but
last year we were less than 50% of our goal. This year so far we're probably 25% of our goal.
Okay.
Maybe less.
Hey, a question. Do you think a deer drive could have worked for you guys?
They asked me that. The guys from Indiana, they asked me that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was, you know, do I think it would work? I think it possibly could. Giving the dynamic of the way our land is,
It's hard on your section because it's not you kind of don't know where they're going to go.
Yeah, you know, ours is long and narrow. It's a mile and 3/4 long by half-mile wide, I think.
Right, and you kind of can't keep them on a straight and narrow usually.
Yeah, you know, you'd push them into shooters. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to get everybody on board, though, with it, is the thing.
I was wondering, because you guys weren't seeing, and you kind of tipped it off that you guys went into an area that wasn't hunted a lot, and you ended up probably pushing deer where they could actually see them.
Yeah, well, and as we left camp this afternoon, as we're coming out of camp, 3 different places, we saw big groups of deer, and actually the last one we saw was down on the main dirt road. There was a group of 15 in the middle of the road just standing there.
So you know they're there?
Yeah. And that's why I pulled over to the side, rolled down my window, and I waved the David's truck up, and I'm like, see, we do have deer here.
Right?
Yeah. They go, yeah, well, that and the other 2 groups we saw. We saw 3 bald eagles this weekend as well.
All right, cool.
So, yeah.
I was good to see them. We've seen them up there when we were up there. So
2 on the property and 1 on the way home. So
okay.
They're becoming almost an every trip occurrence. Every time we're on the property, almost we see them.
Oh, awesome.
So,
good luck on the Facebook Live. Good luck to Sophie. She's entered into a lotto for a deer hunt at the end of the month.
Okay, right on. Yeah, let us know, Matt, how that goes.
But yeah, no, like you said, good weekend. Tired, it's even better. Other than that, here we are. We're heading into the mid of December, so you know the big guy's coming soon.
Yeah.
And you been good?
Yeah, I've been okay.
Okay.
I don't think there's too much cold coming my way.
Oh, good.
And don't forget, guys and gals, go to your local Cabela's and Bass Pro Store. You can get a free picture with Santa.
Yep.
You know, that's going on, I think, till the 20...
Towards the end of the month.
maybe?
Yeah, I think 24th sounds about right. Don't forget, go to huntersblendcoffee.com for your 10%. Use the promo code UNJ. And also, if you're kind of stuck and you don't know what to get your turkey hunter for Christmas, what should they do?
Go to Limb Walker's Facebook page, Limb Walker's Game Call Facebook page, and ask Tim Sias about getting a pot call made and shipped to your house, because he said...
Or a per call.
Or per plate.
Per plate.
That's right. So he said, depending on if you don't wait till the last second, he can get them made and shipped out to you. Great little stocking stuffer or a gift for the turkey hunter in your family.
Absolutely.
Or friend.
And last but not least, you were up muzzleloading. Someone we know, the one and only Dan Yassa, was shooting some indoor tournament.
Midwest Open, I believe.
There you go. And we found out that he took third place.
Absolutely.
So I guess it was the kickoff to the indoor
season. Which you and I are talking about actually shooting this year.
Trying to find some time to do that. And but he took third place, Midwestern Open.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So big shout out to Dan Yassa, PSE, third place.
Absolutely.
Jason Pfister, Matt Howard, guys got to get into that.
Absolutely. And, PSC, if you've been really good and you want to spend some money on somebody who's been really, really, really good, check out PSC's new lineup. They're hunting and target bows. And we'll be talking about that coming up with ATA coming up real soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And Matt says that Sophie would rather have a pick with us two than Santa.
That's not going to win her any favors with the big fella for Christmas.
You're going to end up with coal in your stocking on that one.
Tell her she's going to get a truckload of coal if she does that.
Exactly. But no, you got some time to get some orders out there if you whether it be coffee, some calls.
Yep.
You want to go big, looking at a new, but get out and shoot them, because there's a bunch of new PSUs out there that are
absolutely, and they're in the shops.
They're all in the shops. So get out there, do some shooting. Just like Dan did, third place, not too shabby.
No, that's a good start to kick off the season.
Absolutely.
And I want to throw this out here real quick before we go for those of you on the podcast and the live stream. Not so much the podcast, but the live stream. If Danny and I, if we do decide to do this, which we're pretty serious about shooting these this indoor league this year at our local sportsman's club down the road, that we're going to have to take the live stream portion of our show when we do the show and move it up into Sunday afternoon. Is that something that works into most of the people's schedule here? Just shoot us a quick message or drop it here on the comments below. Let us know. What we're thinking, probably a 4 o'clock or so.
Yeah, I'd have to go to about 4 o'clock.
Yeah, 4 o'clock show. So that's probably what would work. So we could get out and actually shoot in the evening, I think, because they start shooting at 6 or 6:30.
Something like that, yeah.
So we want to get out and do that. So we might do that for January, February, and maybe part of March.
Leads us right into turkey season.
Gobble, gobble.
There you go.
So, all right, guys.
All right.
Everybody on the podcast, that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you again next week. For everybody on the live stream, we'll hang around here for a few. If you got anything going on you want to talk about,
Tim Sias, Jim Storks is now watching. Tim Sias is back. Jason Pfister watching.
Hope everybody had a good week. Hopefully everybody got out and did some hunting this week, too.
Absolutely. If not, get out. Shoot, if it keeps up being cold, we might be able to hit the hard water in January.
Speaking of, our trout pond froze over.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, that was one reason they fished early to catch dinner, was because they were afraid it was going to freeze over,
and it did.
And it did freeze over.
So the other pond's frozen for sure.
Yep, and that's moving water. You remember that? I mean, that water's moving pretty quick.
Yeah.
Through that spillway. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the hard water season might be here before you know it. I know Mark Martin gave one of his ice fishing seminars up at one of the outdoor stores that shall remain nameless.
Okay.
This weekend. Yeah, it looked like they had a pretty good turnout. I've seen that on Facebook. So, yeah,
it's almost time for some hard water.
Yeah, I'd really like to get out one more time and deer hunt. My son Jake, who's at college,
he should be due back, right?
He's coming back the 24th, actually.
Okay.
So, he's got that week off. So that weekend after Christmas, he actually mentioned, he's like, yeah. He said, is there any deer hunting going on after that? And I said, we can do a late doe hunt with rifles. if you want to. And he's like, yeah. He said, yeah, that might be something that might interest me. So there's still a sliver of hope that I might get out one more time, be able to get out, because the next weekend, next 2 weekends, I'm working.
There you go.
There's no opportunity to get out.
It's that Christmas season.
Right. So.
Right. So. All right. Everybody's dropping off. Looks like the Facebook Live.
All righty. Y'all take care, and we will be back again next
week.
Next Sunday at 7 p.m. Y'all take care.